my pleasure to introduce then Rachel Wiley. Rachel Wiley is a poet from Columbus, Ohio, who literally got in around 1 a.m. last night. So thank you so much for being here. She is a multiple National Poetry Slam champion finalist, and she is also a poet who has toured nationally on college venues, slam venues. She has performed at the Geraldine Dodge Poetry Festival, which is sort of this big poetry Woodstock that happens every 2 years. If you don't know what it is, if you're into poetry, it's like your high point every 2 years. And she has also published in numerous places, including the Huffington Post, Everyday Feminism, Drunken Boat, Drunk in a Midnight Choir, Nailed Magazine, and PBS NewsHour. Rachel's first full-length collection of poetry was called Fat Girl Finishing School, and the new one that came out last year is called Nothing is Okay. And they're both wonderful books. I think Rachel's work is really important. She addresses issues in her work that need talking about, and her voice is vibrant, passionate, lyrical, and unforgettable. These are poems that challenge and question and remind us what it is that we have as our shared humanity, and that forgetting that diminishes us. These are poems of celebration, and they're poems of liberation, and I'm thrilled, thrilled, thrilled to have Rachel here today. So, welcome.
Poem is after Angel Nafis and Terrence Hayes, two poets you should definitely be looking up and reading. Mixed girl, white mother. Mixed girl, black father. Yes, really. Mixed girl, white mother's hair. Mixed girl, black father's lips. Mixed girl, patient while you pick and choose what's exotic enough. Mixed girl sighs through tired jokes about how she only gets half of Martin Luther King Day off work. Mixed girl, white mother's guilt. Mixed girl, black father's survival. Mixed girl, survivor's guilt. Mixed girl, passing. Mixed girl wonders if it's called passing because something dies inside each time. Mixed girl carries her blackness like Peter Pan's shadow shot down and stitched desperately back to her heels. Mixed girl also fat. Yes, fat. Fat mixed girl reconciled word fat. Fat mixed girl passes slowly, a heavy drop of water. Fat mixed girl passes race, but never weight limits. Fat mixed girl sighs through tired jokes about black men loving only fat white women. Fat mixed girl living punchline. Fat mixed girl also queer, really, really queer. Queer, fat mixed girl's pronouns are she, her, and your majesty. Queer, fat, mixed girl, femme. Queer, fat, mixed girl, triple threat, invisible. Queer, fat, mixed girl, double agents as a straight, shameful white lady. Queer, fat, mixed girl sighs through tired jokes about greed as sexual orientation. Queer, fat, mixed girl admits to having had many relationships with cis men. Queer, fat, mixed girl, no less attracted to women, though. No less attracted to non-binary beauty, though. Queer, fat, mixed girl probably thinks you're cute. Queer, fat, mixed girl probably wants to make out with you. Yes, you. Queer, fat, mixed girl is a feminist. No shit. Yes, feminist. Feminist, queer, fat, mixed girl is a full body intersection. Feminist, queer, fat, mixed girl's passing whiteness, passing straightness, passing weakness makes her a conceal, carry revolt. Feminist, queer, fat, mixed girl has one common enemy. Aims to gut the white supremacist patriarchy and rouge her cheeks with his blood. Feminist, queer, fat, mixed girl knows he will never, ever see her coming. Y'all out there? Y'all here with me? All right. I'm going to read some newer stuff. Because listen, when you write a book, those of you that are wanting to write books one day, and then you walk around with that book reading out of it for like a year, you're like, I never want to see these poems again. Not for all of them, but you got to mix it up with some new stuff. So I'm going to read some new stuff that'll be in the new book that'll probably be out sometime next year. If I get it done. Deadline, who? This is called Thinner. And what if the rumor is true and there is some skinny woman imprisoned inside my body begging to get out? And what if I swallowed my toothbrush one morning? And what if she were to sharpen it against my spine and shiv her way free, leaving this fat hole behind, a cicada shell? Will you call her a thief when she comes to collect everything denied her for the sake of fatness? The racks upon racks of clothing, the unsettled for love, the unashamed sex, the glorious visibility, the basic fucking decency. See, I am not saying that the fat makes me any kind of a saint. I am entirely capable of vengeance and pettiness in this very large body. But I am saying that I have never known this thin woman. And I cannot but imagine that she has fermented inside me a bitter concentration of withholding. That she is so very hungry and so tired of food. I'm saying that she would come for what is owed her. I'm saying that the same fat sneered at without consequence might be your one and only advantage. It might be a gift, might be the only barrier between you and this pinless grenade who would wear your wedding dress better than you ever could, hiked up and politely fucking your betrothed, standing on the very altar where you were meant to exchange your vows, leaving you with only the cake to comfort you. When she asked if I was suicidal, I told the doctor that I called off work one day last week to sit on my balcony and watch as the old Victorian home across the alley was dismantled by a crane. That for years I watched this house pass from one new owner to the next, each excited by her potential, each sure they could fix her, each eventually deciding that she was far too much work. I tell the doctor how I feel like that house, that I worry my own bones might be made of heavy red brick, that the hands that held me once are coming back with cranes. Every day with breakfast, I swallow 3 green pills. They are supposed to make me less heavy, more grounded. On the days I forget to take them, I am less a person and more a flock of hummingbirds hovering in a vague person configuration, trying not to get caught. And even on the days I remember, sometimes I still grow 50 feet tall and make a mess out of everything, even though I don't mean to, even though I really just want tenderness, even though I know there are probably not arms big enough to hold me because I am 50 feet tall, and this makes me want to hide, but again, I can't on account of being 50 feet fucking tall. Now, with my 3 green pills, despite being 50 feet tall, I know that I am a human woman and not some hollowed out Victorian home being pulled to the earth brick by loving brick. I write poems for my niece a lot. My niece lives with me now, which is wild. She's 11. She's chill. I like her. um, yeah, I wrote this a while ago. I wrote this when she was like 6, I think. And I have a photograph of this moment where her face is just like, and it's my favorite. And she's like, "Why do you like that? It's so ugly, right?" Shh. And I'm like, "No, you are a lion." And I took it on the day that this poem opens with. It's called When We Were Kings One Day. When my niece is 4 years old, she stands on her chair in a Wendy's to give me lessons on how to roar like a lion. She shows me how she pulls the sound up from her feet. She gnashes her teeth. A smear of ketchup turned gazelle's blood on the side of her face. She tells me, "Girls can be kings too." She is making her fiercest lion face when this man walks up and tells her to smile, that she is too pretty to have her face all screwed up like that. And she obliges, but she does so as a lion, with still twitching prey clamped in her jaws. She locks eyes with him and growls until he walks away. King of the jungle is she. Now my niece is 6 and skipping pizza day because she's all of a sudden worried about being thin enough to be someone's queen, or just pretty enough to be a trophy. Tallest girl in her class stoops now from being told to make herself smaller. Smiles, mouth closed to hide missing teeth so as never to show her imperfection. Swallows all the right answers in class so as not to be too smart. She is being tamed for the poachers. And I am undone. I see you, patriarchy. You gas leak. You pickpocket. You wasp's nest in the attic. You virus of glass. You hothouse minefield. I see the 2 short years it took you to hollow her defiance into something ungainly. I have already spent too much of my own reign a circus act of obedience with your head too close to my teeth. You will not have her too. This is the notice of your dismantling. I will split wide the bellies of men who have plundered us for our growl. I will build stilts out of the femurs of men who expect us to shrink for them. And I will stack crowns worthy of only girl kings out of the teeth of men who tell women to smile. We are coming for what is ours. and we will all be kings again one day. All right, all right. I'm going to stay on that vengeful path. Because I don't know, I do get a lot of flack for being mad, but anger is valid. Lean into it. There's a lot to be fucking angry about, bro. A lot. This is called Femme Fatale. I talk a lot about killing patriarchy and masculinity because I'm bored with it. My favorite review of Nothing Is Okay on Amazon was a man that was like, I could do with a little less man hate. And I was like, misandry forever. Ugh. Femme Fatale. His first mistake is assuming anything I do is done for male consumption. I put my face on artful each morning. My time in front of the mirror getting it just right might seem a shallow act. He might assume that I am the one distracted and that he is not. He might assume that my walk-in closet is a temple of vanity and not a war room when it is both. My eyeliner stays winged so sharp, it could kill a man. If I allow him near enough to embrace me, it's only to further sharpen the blade against the rough of his cheek. He might assume that I am soft, that I am unarmed. And I am soft, lushly soft. But I am also always armed. And I am waiting patiently for his one and final mistake, the inevitable moment when he will pass out on his own toxicity before I bleed him dry. This is a poem I read, and like 3 unhappy white women walked out of my set in Minnesota. Listen. White people, you are not all inherently bad, but whiteness is toxic. The construct of whiteness kills people. So if you feel attacked, I can't say anything but reflect on that. That's your insecurity talking. Sometimes you know you're wrong. Intersectional feminism, AKA actual fucking feminism, plays the dozens with white feminism. White feminism is about as feminist as Dr. Pepper is a medical doctor, as Rachel Dolezal is black. Let me tell you something real quick, though. I'm so mad her name is Rachel. Like, being a white passing actual mixed girl and this bitch's audacity. Anyway. White feminism is about as feminist as an orgasm with Donald Trump would be real. White feminism, so white, it has the nerve to deem everything it likes its spirit animal, like it doesn't have whole chunks of sacred land stuck between its teeth. Gets mad when you tell it that there's something in its fucking teeth rather than gracefully cleaning them out. White feminism's autocorrect changes appropriation to appreciation because she doesn't truly care to know the difference. White feminism's so white, doesn't see any problem with those obnoxious pink pussy hats. So white, it thinks Amy Schumer is hilarious. In fact, all of white feminism's favorite jokes use black women as punchlines and don't understand why you're not laughing. Doesn't understand why you can't just lighten up. White feminism has itself one black friend, Raven Simone, still calls itself intersectional, though, still shows up to your Halloween party in blackface, though. That happened to me. That's garbage. And I didn't burn the house down. Where's my parade? White feminism thinks Beyonce is overrated, but Taylor Swift, that's a feminist icon, though. Thinks twerking is a sexual revolution on Miley, but wants to know why Nicki just won't respect herself. White feminism, what's good? White feminism is out here acting brand new, when white feminism isn't anything close to brand new. White feminism used to be called women's suffrage, got some cosmetic work done, and swiped out its blatant racism for more trendy, complicit racism. Seriously, Google Susan B. Anthony's racist ass. I'm so serious. White feminism swapped out its more blatant racism for the trendy, complicit racism, the kind of racism it can wear to Coachella without feeling bogged down by responsibility. Still only marches when she benefits, though. Still only votes in her best interest, though, 53%. White feminism doesn't appreciate being called white feminism. Doesn't understand why everything's always got to be about race. Doesn't see color and thinks your obsession with race is frankly divisive. Besides, Meryl Streep said we're all descendants of Africa anyway. And white feminism swears it will unlock the door to equality and let us all in if we'll just hoist her through this window on our backs. And ain't that just like white feminism? Always getting up on someone else's back. Woo, 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 woo. Where are we at on time? How y'all feeling? Y'all all right? Good, good. Good, good. Got a couple more poems. I wrote this poem leaving New Jersey once. Like, I don't know that y'all understand how much I love New Jersey. It's one of my favorite places to be. I think one of the reasons I love New Jersey, though, specifically, is because people generally think that I'm rude and mean without cause. And I feel like people feel that way about New Jersey a lot. And I feel like that's garbage. There's just, like, I like New Jersey because there's, like, swearing in your politeness. Like, this dude today, like, let the door shut, like, right when I was about to walk into Starbucks. And then he was like, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. And then opened the door. And I was like, that shit never happens in Columbus. They not opening the door for you, much less saying, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. And, like, that's my love language, like, swearing and then something nice. That's me. It's me. This poem has nothing to do with that. But I wrote it when I was leaving New Jersey once, and I was sad about it. I was leaving one of my dear friends, and I didn't get to spend enough time with him when I was here. And I don't know, like, I had this whole, like, epiphany about our friendship. So I wrote this poem called The Leaving. And I don't think I've ever read it out loud, like, or I haven't in a very long time. But it feels appropriate to read it in New Jersey. If I get to be old, my body a tower of carelessly stacked dishes in polyester slacks that somehow makes it from breakfast to dinner and to breakfast once again without celebrating a milk glass of confetti onto the ground. My hair becomes a wild bouquet of television antennas. My eyes, a pair of bashful blue brides hiding behind ivory veils. My skin, a well traveled and sinking hot air balloon. If I begin to stand on the back porch and call in for dinner the cat that was found curled up under the porch in a peaceful rest long before my teeth were pulled and replaced with ill-fitting typewriter keys that click and ding and must be slid back into place again. I hope that my hermit crab brain crawls up and into this memory of the thing between you and I that is love, but never need. I will call the mailman by your name and swoon over all the marvelous gifts you bring me each day. Every grocery list I write will be a love letter scrawled to you until my hands fuse into conch shells I can only press to my ears and feel them hum all the kisses blown from and caught in my palms over these years. And in this way, in this place, even the leaving will be beautiful. As beautiful as that evening I flew back home alone and untouched, but never more sure that I loved you. This city, your city, that I love the same way that I love you, disappearing beneath me, a closing mouth full of gold teeth in the heavy-headed sun, resting, nestling on the clouds like a lover's chest. I get mushy sometimes. It's for my friend Ben. I love him. I'm gonna do one more poem, and then I guess we're gonna do question and answer. If y'all have questions. Or dad jokes. I love dad jokes. Or crock pot recipes. Because I'm feeding children now. Those little shits are picky. Never eaten so much spaghetti in my life. Um, it's like being a college student again. I think I can do this one from memory. I don't memorize poems much anymore because it's exhausting. And I don't slam anymore, so I don't have to. There's a beautiful woman in my bed. After a lot of awkward flirting, we started kissing on my couch and then made our way upstairs. Auxiliary articles of clothing, cardigans, leggings, socks, all peeling away until all that remained between our skins are simple dresses. My first instinct, anytime my dress is pulled over my head, is to wrap my arms across my belly, less in shame and more a shield against the disgust the world constantly promises for it. See, I love my body more days than I don't, and that is a long won battle, but asking anyone else to love my body still sometimes feels like asking for too much. Every time I've let someone fuck me with my dress still on, I laid in bed afterwards and vowed not to let another person inside me who hasn't seen me fully, not just seen though, but marveled at and pressed their lips to all the places deemed unworthy. A promise I break when the need to be touched outweighs the need for dignity. I'm still learning how to ask for what I deserve without it also sounding like an apology. So when at last I plunge from my dress into open air, there is this beautiful woman in my bed. And unasked, she presses her lips to my belly before I can reach to cover it. And she marvels, y'all. And she runs her hands over all of me like her palms might just slough the world's cruelty from my skin. There is this beautiful woman in my bed, and she holds beauty the same way that I hold beauty, hard won, with both hands overflowing. So when she emerges from the polycotton undertow of her own dress, how can I help but to love her body the same way I have fought every single day to love my own? And now I reach, I touch, I marvel, and her body, it answers my wanting hands. She is endless. We are endless and unshielded and weightless here in my bed. Weightless, but not the least bit smaller. Thank God, not the least bit smaller. Thank you guys.